Hello everyone, it is Friday, it's 7 o'clock, which means it's time for some more Ace Attorney. Hello pigs! No, you won't die, but there will be tears of joy and all manners of things, and gods, it is hot, like, and it's not because it's hot outside, but it's just hot, so yeah. Wow, echo. That's some pretty bad echo. Whatever, I can't do anything about that. Your theory, huh? Hello, Van. How are you? Let's see, where is the launcher? There it is. Because we have quite some things to do today. Ace Attorney and Burger. That is a very good combination indeed. There we go. Apollo Justice. I just want to get straight into it because this game, this ending is amazing and you are all in for a treat. Yeah, we have some shit to go through because we are now showtime. I lost. It's only a game of poker. A game I played for a long time, and only lost twice. Who was the first? The man I killed, of course. Well, it seems I found the partner I've been looking for all along. Over a game of cards? Why, yes. Over a game of cards. It was how we first met, 7 years ago. 7 years earlier, Phoenix Wright's final trial. I just have this biggest grin on my face because this part is amazing. Whew, okay. It's been a long time since I felt like a rookie. Gotta try to relax. Ah, good morning, Mr. Enigma. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. So, do you recognize this guy's face? I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared. I understand I'm asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. And that was enough. Actually, it wasn't. Trust me. Baby Trucy! Baby Trucy! Oh, good morning, Daddy! Ah, I'm so glad you came. Are you okay, Daddy? Are they picking on you? I'm fine as always. This old boy here is here to help me after all. That's young man to you. Good morning. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on. Thanks. My first show is today after all. Oh, I'm sure it is. What the heck is she talking about? How's so, pics? Too much? Don't force yourself to finish food if it's too much, you know? Okay, fair enough. Oh, old boy. Huh? Me? Look what he started. Here. What's this? I don't know, I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important. What's this? A memo for you or some such? Not from the looks of it. What is this? Looks like a page from someone's diary. I'll give it a read later. Well, how do you feel about the trial today? It seems fate, Can I? No, I can't. No, I can't read it, it's too small. We'll get through it, somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy here. Ah, an easy win then, yes? They call him a true thoroughbred in the history of the prosecutor's office. Of course, there's one of those every year. The switching of attorneys just before the trial. I know it's a difficult situation I put you in, but allow me to say one thing, Mr. Wright. Yes? They will not be able to pronounce me guilty today. So do your best, but do not worry. First time a defendant's ever given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can. I see you do not understand. You see, it'll be impossible for them to declare a verdict. Impossible? Yes. Isn't that right, Trucy? Yep, you bet, Daddy! My first look at the case was only yesterday, and the information I was given was a bit lacking, to be honest. Still, I'll do what I can for their sake. I believe the curtains will be lifting any time now. I am in your capable hands, Mr. Wright. It's raining outside. Yay! There's even a rainbow outside. My client is Klavier Gavin, known to the world as Valant Gramarye. A wildly popular magician, Stormtroop Gramarye. His mentor, Magnific Gramarye, was a rare breed of magician. Yeah, his name is Shadi. Which was also the name of the other guy. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of stage magic until he was shot dead, and Valant Gramarye is the suspect. Now, it's time to see someone we haven't seen in a long time, and it's such a shame. Hello, Bello! Court is now in session for the trial of Klavier Gavin. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Is the prosecution ready? I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? Bit of a buzzkill, really. Buzzkill? Is that some kind of new crime? One of the worst. This is a trial, yeah? Where are the sweaty palms, the pounding hearts? The Gavin's concerts got 10 times the thrill than this big gig got. Who were you again? Klavier Gavin. I came to get the party started legally, yeah? Gavin? Defense attorney Klavier Gavin's? Ah! Figured my bro's more famous in this part of town. Klavier Gavin? Lead singer for the mega band the Gavineers. You're out of your league, rock boy. Oh, Phoenix. I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy. True, my debut single, 13 years Hard Time for Love, went platinum overnight. But that is just a hobby to me compared to this, yeah? Talkative, aren't you? I like your affected Euro rock accent, by the way. I'm just getting warmed up, Attorney Wright. Perhaps you would be so kind as to fill us in on the case. Action, baby! Time to call the opening act. What was his name again? Ah, yes, Detective Gumshoe. Hit it. Oh, someone I know from GermanCon told me she was streaming, went in, oped out boobies. Oh no. Yeah, better come here to our wholesome stream here, because... And you are? Hey, you're the one who called me here, sir. Name's Dick Gumshoe. I'm a homicide detective down the precinct. Detective Gumshoe. Long time no see. Hey, you! Me? Today's the day, pal! Today, I win and you lose. I got confidence in my testimony today, you see? What? You normally lack confidence in your testimony? Ach, detective, this is my stage. Candy antics. Huh? All this hay-hewing and such. I could care less about your history together. Ugh. Yes, we're Phoenix for the time being. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, if you would. This is Phoenix Wright's last trial. That's the title of this trial. If you would, please tell us about the case at hand. It happened 6 days back in a room at our general hospital. The facts are simple as they come. Here's a crime scene. The victim was a patient, asleep in a hospital bed. The killer comes in. Hey, Ghost! 6 months! Thank you! How are you doing? I know I've been around lately. I've just been lurking a little bit because I've been so busy with work. But how are you? The killer comes in, puts a pistol to his forehead, and BAM! Lights out! That's the fact! Them's the facts! Not so long ago, the victim Phoenix Gramarye was a famous man. He had an entire country under his magical spell, as it were. Ah, yes, the great magician. He retired years ago, though. Say the name Magnifique to one of my generation, and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare. Yes, though I'm sure the youngsters today know his disciples even better. I dare say Troop Gramarye has made quite the name of themselves. Anyhow, the retired Magnifique's been in the hospital for the last year. We're just wrapping up this game now. It's gonna be amazing because this game is so good. Huh? What was it? A mal-ignorant tutor or something? Doing something to his liver, I think. Yeah. A malignant tumor, perhaps. In other words, he has the liver cancer. He only had 3 months left to live, in fact. Yeah, Pig's theory on how this case goes was amazing. So we'll just have to show her how right or wrong she was. She wrote this giant wall of text on my Discord and many other places, just like her theory about this, and it was highly enjoyable to read. The facts do seem simple enough, but something's not right. The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock on the heaven's door? Why shoot him? I would not put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes. Diabetes? In fact, he was about to shoot up his insulin when he was shot with the pistol. The syringe was found at the crime scene. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the ends of his life. Glory to the old gods. Hello, Shemi, and hello, Mina. You are all just in time to see the great downfall of Phoenix Wright. I believe the question before us is quite clear then. Why did the killer have to reshoot this dying man? What reason could he have had? Very well, detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us to the circumstances of the shooting. Yes, sir. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do with him. A few days before the happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it. The pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. There are there are 4 cases in this game, but this is kind of a 3 for 1. This last case here, it's 4 cases in most of them, and there's 5 cases in the first game. So we're on the last case. What? You're saying that the victim ordered his own shooting? Those are the facts. I have the letter in here. I have here the letter in question. Hello, Septile. Welcome, everyone. It's so much fun this time. I'm just hyped. This case is so good. Very unusual indeed. Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull the trigger, I wonder? I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter. Ah, you cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court? Everything is hyped, it's amazing. Unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that bit, sir. One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't you just say 11? Why haven't come at 11:05? Without some specific reason? The devil is in the details, Aratoni. Well, was there some reason? As it turns out, there was every night for half an hour starting at 11. The victim, Valant Gramarye, was given an IV. An IV? There it is in a picture, off the right-hand side of the bed. At 11 o'clock, a doctor would come to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happens every night without fail. So that was the only time they could meet without any chance for any untimely interruption. During his IV. Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you will. Apollo Justice is the name of the main character of this game. We're currently looking back at a case that happened 7 years before where we're playing. It's basically to wrap up all the things, so, like all the weird things. So in this, we're only playing Phoenix for this small section of this case. So this is the story about Apollo Justice more than Phoenix, but Phoenix is also here because Phoenix acts as Apollo's mentor, as Phoenix is working in the background to like get things right in the justice system again, because we're currently in the dark age of the law where corruption is rampant. I do recommend playing these games, they are so good. The only bad thing about this game is that because it's a 3DS game, it has so many 3DS gimmicks in it. That's the only bad thing about this game, really. What's the reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? He could at least have mentioned it to me. Yeah, he is a bit of a dick. Like, Phoenix has changed in the last 7 years. Yeah, I am going to be playing Danganronpa down the line. I'm going to be playing... I have 2 games down the line. I have... When I'm done with this one, next weekend, I'm going to be playing the last Investigations game. Miles Edgeworth Investigations. And then I'm going to be playing the Book of Unwritten Tales, 1 and 2. And then I'm going to be playing Danganronpa, I think, for my Friday streams. Because I really wanted to get into Danganronpa. I own Danganronpa. I really want to play it, but there are so many games. Let's see, there. No, not that one. No, not that one. What was the... There was. That's fair enough, Septile. How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself, get that noggin cracking. I love Gumshoe. It's just like, wow, this is unusual from him. You failed to grasp the concept of questioning, detective. First, we got this letter. It says shoot in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Probably. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backstop, old pal. Gumshoe! Mood! You failed to grasp the concept of shooting people as bad, detective. I also found the defendant's pistol at the scene. Traces of gunpowder residue shows that it has been fired recently. Well, Mr. Wright, as far as I can tell from this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. The photo? Maybe there is something in there I can use. So, they're saying that the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly Mr. Enigma, like... So, can you see that? What is wrong here? It's very not obvious. You have so many questions about this picture.
You mean the hole in the doll?
Yes. Excellent work. Wonderful. Look at this photo. Another possibility. Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me. Yes. What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes? Bingo, pal. That's what the defendant popped him up in the forehead. Oh, the defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make. That! And can you prove that with this photo? I can prove he had a choice, yes. The defendant might have fired like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he didn't shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot?
Take that!
The clown doll? Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead too. Ah! There is a hole in its forehead! Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's claim. Ah! And I suppose you have a reason to as to why he shot the clown doll? He didn't just shoot the doll, he shot the doll's forehead. His forehead? Ah! Let's read the orders for once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead. Which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead. Alright girls, take care. Have a good weekend. I might drop in on your stream like if I'm idle this weekend because I'm doing a lot of things this weekend. And thank you for dropping by. The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter. I admit, I am impressed, but I expected nothing less. Still, this doesn't mean that he didn't shoot the victim. Perhaps he did have to shoot a forehead as ordered, but the letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet hole in the clown's forehead does demand an explanation. It might even very well be a clue, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. That alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Herr Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall. How sad it is to see the novice overconfidence. He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue with your testimony. So what if you shot the clown? You still shot the victim, pal. I didn't have time to gather all the details before coming in here. This testimony might be my only source of information. Better pay attention. And read this letter carefully. You're gonna channel a prosecutor. Who did you... That's a hard question. On the one hand, I love just Edgeworth's just dry humor and witty just sarcasm. It's amazing. I also love Franziska because she's just amazing too. And Gordon has coffee, you know? That is hard. I would probably like try for a combination of them, like Franziska's attitude with Edgeworth's snark and sarcasm together with Gordon's tolerance for coffee. I just want coffee. You mean this pistol? The one found in the crime scene photo? That's the one! It's a funny looking gun, so there's no mistaking about it. And it compares the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. So, you've verified the murder weapon, in other words. You bet we did! So, why are you so certain? What pile of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zack and Valent's quick draw shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialties. Like seriously? Iron Brad is very difficult. Oh, pigs. Pigs. We'll get there. Zack and Valant stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot. But the bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on the stage. This was one of the pistols they used in their show. Got a great design, huh? The kids love it. Many boys and girls join the police because of that pistol I have. You know, that would explain a lot about the police force. Turnabout Gramarye stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held on to that pistol ever since. Right. What? I am confused now. Did I miss something? The court would like to see the pistol in question. Oh. You got it, sir. Here it is. Here she is. Well, this is truly a blast from the past. It's a stage pistol for magic show, see? But it can fire real bullets. It looks so much bigger in real life than on television. Yeah, but it can only hold one round. Oh, by the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty. Psst, kids, will you buy some Fumo? Mine has been dealing in Fumos. Oh, stop dealing in chat. And it shows traces of having been fired recently. So, were any fingerprints found on the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. You might as well say that the lack of fingerprints is in fact a fingerprint of its own. Aha! Intriguing point, well made. Whoa, not well made, not intriguing. In any case, the court accepts this evidence. grandchild would get a kick out of seeing this. But now it is time to return to our testimony. You should absolutely have done that, Mina. I would not have blamed you for that. And I back Tenha for your troubles. I haven't followed the Kali stream today. The trickiest case often seems the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah. But like I just said, pal, after he shot the clown in the forehead, he went and... Did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not. Yeah, I hope Callie gets well soon. The murder weapon? How? It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds one bullet at a time. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim too. That is not a contradiction, not even close. All he had to do was reload the shot after the pistol after the first shot. Pasta? So, are you winning the spaghetti war today? Oh? And then where did he get the extra bullet? They're not easy to come by, you know. If you claim the defendant had one ready, then prove us how he got it. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party is just getting started. I haven't proven anything yet, beyond my good looks and startling record sales. An utter lack of humility. And what's this? It seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared. Like I said, a detective was just a warm-up act. Now that the audience has got a taste of what is to come, they're ready. Yeah, it is so good that they brought back this music. Just like the original Ace Attorney music for you know, Objection for Phoenix. It's great. It's such a good detail. Ready for what? For my decisive witness, of course. I think it is, yes, Mina. If we get one of those. I can't remember if we have it, but I think so. It should be if we have a court in the situation. A witness who you will find can prove one thing for us. That it was Valant Gramarye who shot the victim in the forehead. Very well. We will pause for a 15-minute recess. This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach. Court is adjourned. It goes so quickly. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less. Well, only just begun. I was hoping you would tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Eventually you discovered the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know. We need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You'll scare Trucy. Speaking of which, where is she? You have seen a problem yourself, the letter. The one shot in the forehead one, right? Yes. And the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death. Why not? This is something I will not say for now, at least. What's this for now business? I've done many things in my life, some well and some poorly. But this is a cross we must all bear alone to our graves. We? You want to know about the night of the incident? Finally, this guy sure likes taking his time getting to the important stuff. Of course, I have no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time, and found thereupon his bedside 2 pistols. 2? Yes, the one I had used on stage, and the one had been used by my partner, Valant. Oh, for the Zack and Valant's quick draw thing? My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then for a moment. You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him? Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, although not his first. So there were other requests you couldn't refuse before? To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear that brought pain upon Trucy. Was Magnifique coercing his disciple somehow? Just what was going on in Gramarye? Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot that clown. I took the pistol and I fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket? I believe you examine the bullet in the clown's forehead, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called? Rifling marks? Yes. Well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case. Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can tell me? You're a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks. Yes, there is something. My mentor. His eyes opened. What? Klavier Gavin? The old devil. He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. And there, we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion, maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so. What did you talk about? Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Zack Gramarye. He seems pretty steadfast to me, or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I'm in your hands. Right, let's get back in there. Court is now back in session. During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out from the clown's head. Well, this is news. And the rifling marks? There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon. Well, that's not very conclusive now, is it? It is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Ah, don't worry about my account. I'm very confident that this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of Troupe Gramarye's famous duo, Zack and Valant Gramarye. So, we get to meet the great Magnifique's other disciple. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation. Valant Gramarye, magician. You are the decisive witness, are you? You can prove that your fellow students, your partner's guilt? Fate. The grand illusion filled with traps and tricks. Wait, the shooting took place in the hospital at 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late? If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes. Okay. I always get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this. That looks very familiar. Wait. That's the same letter Zach Gramarye received. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da! Order, order, order! And what does it say? Surely not the same thing. Perhaps you should see for yourself. Why, it's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence. Oh, pigs. This is most unusual. Exactly what is going on with you folks? What exactly was your trip Gramarye up to? By what you mean? I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less. It is just my opinion, Herr Judge, but from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the magician's paths together, and in doing so shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there's a strain, a wrapping of relation, you might say. Yet, this has nothing to do with the case at hand. Oh. Just a slight feeling, Pix? Just a slight feeling? By which you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Well, what was that?
That was my share, trying to grow over the...
Okay, I get it. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Gramarye, stands accused. Tell us why. I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise singing hymns to the miracle that is magic. Fascinating. Though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene of the crime. In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time. As every magician knows, timing is everything. Yes! And now it's the time to get this party fired up. That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifique requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final blow. I didn't imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet, a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death, sweet kiss. I gave to the clown. Then I informed the doctor and the police. So you were the one who reported a crime. Indeed. I would think this fact alone would make clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions of this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Gramarye, is guilty. And if it wasn't Zach Gramarye, then the killer was you, Valant. Since fate's clock will make me wait a little bit longer, at least only less than 10 sweat minutes remain. To all those who supported me in my life, I give my thanks. Farewell. That's what it says, actually. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. I just love it. We're back to the first case, like the cross-examination theme. It's so good. It's even not like, it's not even just like the old game, it's also the old style of music. Like, there's no remastering, it's just an old tune, it's so good. There were 2 bullet holes in the scene, one in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No doubt my partner Zach has said much the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. I'm gonna dig around here a bit more and see what I turn up. Mr. Valant, let me ask you about something concerning the crime scene, namely the number of pistols. How many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valant quick draw shootout, right? 1 for each of you. You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night. You should still watch it. It's like amazing things. The movie is amazing. It is just generally good. It's just fan service for those who are fans of Ace Attorney. It's so good. What did Zach tell me back in the lobby? I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol is visible in the photograph at the crime scene after all. So you picked the pistol and fired it? Indeed I did. Alakazam. Alakazam? Alakazboom. Is the number of pistols really that important? The number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor. Yeah, it like the Ace Attorney movie is a masterpiece. The only thing, there's only one gripe I have about it, and that is how it portrays Red White. Apart from that, it's great. Very well. Please add this detail to your testimony. What can I do but obey? But to obey? Only 1 pistol was in the hospital room that night, and with it I shot the clown. According to the defendant, Zach Gramarye, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on the table. 2? One of those pistols he had used to shoot the clown in the forehead, and then he left with it in his pocket. Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike that hapless clown, we must assume that our defendant has brains in his head. Well, what about what Mr. Valant has told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. And what that might be? What might that be? I told you, I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown. That's your story, at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. Valant. Recall what prosecutor Gavin told us. Mr. Valant, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead. Order! 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 Well, this is all rather sudden. What have I done? Prosecutor Gavin? I owe the court an apology. Sorry. But sorry for what? You see, I was unaware that two of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proves the type of gun that fires them. But that's not what you told us before. You said you verified a murder weapon. Which is why I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake I made in my youth? Actually, yes, that's what the internet does nowadays. That was just this morning. I am still young, and I might add, if it wasn't my fault. Let's see, how old is Valant? He is here. Klavier is younger than Phoenix. Like, of course he's 17, you know? Klavier. And I might add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took one pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion right about now. Valant Gramarye. Yes, Your Honor. You were presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you proved to be more divisive than decisive. Objection! You'll see in time. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next. Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin? When Mr. Valant enters the hospital room, the victim has already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, right, the real fight is about to begin. Bring it. Very well. The witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what. I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say at 20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation and then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. It was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. And the one in the room at that time was my partner, not me. Those times were rather close, you have to admit. We're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis to your alibi, it is easy to explain in this situation now, Judge. For example, take our debut single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Choose a song, press the play button, and it will play for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Do it 100 times. The result is the same. The debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long? What a ripoff. Magic is a word of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires admirable focus. And in the time of death, determined by the doctor, there is an inconceivable truth. Very well, the prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times. And we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision. I would hope that the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations. Lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands. Point taken. Baseless remark will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright. Carry on. Right. Let's see. If you play Right in the Ashes, clear his lie as Trucy was being built. Yeah. There's so much. Well, the thing is, Trucy is indirectly referenced in From the Ashes. It's not mentioned by name, but it's referenced by description as there's French cafe down the street. This is nothing to do. Pigs. Calm down, everyone, calm down. I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How can the doctors be so precise with the time? We do usually get an estimated time of death, true. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death. Magic revels in making the complex appear simple, but in reality, the opposite is true. What appears complex in this case is a simple matter of subtraction. I see another person has done their arithmetic homework. The point here is that IV the victim was taken. It is quite visible in the photograph from the scene. I know, pigs. Recall what we heard earlier about the victim, Phoenix Gramarye's schedule. Every night at 11, Phoenix took an IV drip for 30 minutes. I can see the IV bag right there, yes. Now, look a little closer and follow the tube from the bag to the end. Ah, the needle's been removed. Doubtlessly, it fell out when he was shot. Okay, seriously, an IV doesn't just fall out like that. I have been on IV, that thing was stuck. Right here. It's just like, it's taped, it doesn't just fall out, even if we just shoot something in the forehead. It is taped, like, there's a tube inside your vein, and then it's taped to it, like inside your skin, and then it's taped, just, it doesn't fall out! Fair enough, pigs, it is, Phoenix Wright, but seriously, IVs don't fall out. Yeah, those things are long. No, actually I think it was here, like on my wrist here. Yeah, IVs are unpleasant. That would seem to be the case. When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. Ah, you can just measure the remaining IV liquid. Precisely. The IV liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determines the time of death. From the amount remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began. And so it was, when I, Valant, entered that room. 10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Did that seem important? Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue we have for the time of death, I'd say it is very important. Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold the power of arithmetics. Alright, Mina, good luck with the pasta. My bet is on the pasta, but good luck regardless. Very well. The witness would add this detail to his testimony. I just have a wonderful idea. I'll get to that later. Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. Oxy, yes! Wait, what? Okay, what am I doing? What am I supposed to do, pigs? Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance? When I first entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then, his left arm did I spy a rose, drooping and wilted. Its thorn, the discarded ivy needle. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot, luckily for you. If that IV had not been there, why you might be a suspect. Indubitably so. I'd say it is thanks to my lucky color. Your lucky color? Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. For it is always, without fail, brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valant won their first Magician's Grand Prix, yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians, I was adorned in this attire then too. On our trophy, a bust. What a day that was. This is one day trip down the memory lane no one needs. My lucky color, yes indeed, and that IV too. I say, I think 'twas you the same, especially for me, Valant. That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony? Valant sure looks happy with himself. Okay, how about this lucky color testimony? Because that is not yellow. It certainly sounds like your lucky color brought you plenty of luck, but not this time. Mr. Valant, your lucky colors betrayed you. I'm afraid you lost me. Your Honor, the witness testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence. What? Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Baseless accusations will be duly penalized. I do hope this latest accusation was well based. Don't worry, I've got all your bases right here. Very well, let's hear the defense claim. Where is your evidence that contradicts what Mr. Valant just told us? Mine. Don't ask me that. Besides, I don't want you to have to stay awake forever to actually, get it right. Also, didn't Tenho order Ranfumo?
I did.
So there's no point in me also getting one. Mina, what are you doing? Mina, why? Oh, what's hers is mine. What's mine is also mine. A photo of the crime scene. All this talk of color has me yearning for black and white. Clear-cut simplicity. No, there are no noises here. Tell us, right. Just wherein is the contradiction in this photo? My pleasure, and I assure you it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything when black and white. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What in this photo contradicts the witness's testimony? Take that! Valant Gramarye, let's get one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, right? Kinda takes the mystery out of it, but yes. Something wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright? Yes, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Take a look at the photo of the crime scene. Oh, what is this? Confusion, no doubt. Tell us, what does your elderly eyes spy? Even my elderly eyes can see there's a problem here, Mr. Valant. Look at that IV back. Ah. What a foul magic. it would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow. And I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph. Allah Kaz soon! Allah Kazmoo! Order! What does this mean? This is some kind of mistake. Yes, Prosecutor Gavin, your witness mistake. The greater they are, the harder they fall. Yeah, buddies! I suppose there's no substitute for experience. Valant Gramarye, as you reminded us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the ivy is clearly not. At least get it right! It's not it's At least get it right! Actually don't! But, well... The contradiction can mean only one thing. Objection! And to think you almost had me. I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. Something you would like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as this court can tell, the witness testimony does contradict the evidence. Yes, a contradiction. One that shall be pleased, I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. How do you mean? How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree at a glance, the ivy liquid does appear to be some sort of greenish yellow. But I assure you the liquid itself is quite yellow. Yellow liquid? How could you say that? As far as I can tell in this photo, it's green. Yes, but that is the color of the bag itself. Bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook? It looks like the sunlight blue. Precisely. Figured it out yet? Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag and you get green. This, incidentally, is the liquid's true color. I see. Your explanation does have the ring of truth to it. Objection! As I thought, there is no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. That? You may tell a good tale, but you've proven something rather grave, for you that is. Grave? The liquid in the ivy is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know that? It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. The scene of the crime, the ivy liquid appears to be green. So, let me ask, how did the witness know that the ivy liquid was actually yellow? Just punch! I like this no. I love that. Order! Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once. The witness clearly knew the color of the liquid IV. So, I'm sure it means something, but what? I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Valant Gramarye, has testified that the ivy liquid was yellow because he has seen it before. From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the ivy liquid was yellow. Why? Because he has seen it before. But not inside the blue bag we see in this photo. He saw liquid by itself in clear, colorless bag. I suppose I would have to, but I'm still not clear as to what all this means. Ask yourself, why would you know if it didn't work in the hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor. This is so good! Yeah, the pursuit themes are amazing. Just Ace Attorney in general, or the court music and all that is so good. Ace Attorney music is so good. It's amazing. I'm afraid I find nothing. What if he knows the IV liquid's color? Leave the getting inside over absolutely nothing to our daily football fans, yeah? The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin. I remember it well. However, there is a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag. But wait, I know. An hourglass uses sand, but an IV bag uses liquid. Am I right? I just love how the music just cuts out like this. As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. Hello, Callie! How are you? Are you doing better? The judge hurts. Unlike the sand through an IV glass, the IV liquid enters the patient's body, at which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid has increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing how much went in. Objection! Let me get this straight, Mr. Wright. You're saying that the victim watered down the victim's IV bag? Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow. No, wait, I said wait! How might an amateur such as myself essay to perform such a task? I'm an amateur too, but I can pour water into a cup. Oh no! Yeah, don't feel like shit. Like, oh right, you're sick, aren't you? You caught a cold or something. I hope the ace is taking care of you. Taking good care of you. I'm afraid there is quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite. Can you prove our witness is capable of such a feat? He has a point, amateurs. I at least would have some difficulty pouring liquid IV into that bag. You need to be an expert to see the look on the witness' face. He added liquid to that IV bag to throw off the time of death. I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to earth? Valant Gramarye, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime. Might I ask what you're strongly suggesting? Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All you had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was the victim's syringe. It's a perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick. And it's enough for an amateur to use. What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it. And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin? What? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There would have been trace of insulin left inside. Well, Valant Gramarye? As you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes a perfect cloak. One that you could manipulate at will. Alakazam! Yeah, last week's freak out was amazing. I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin. I'm afraid that, while there was a doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag. Hello, Maya. How are you doing? You are just in time to see the end, the fall of from grace. Here. And that brings our trial to a close for today. Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this. I can do a little much needed investigation work. I see there are no objections. This court is... Truly, there is no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. A word to the wise. Underestimate the young and they will sweep your feet out from under you, in a way you never ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you are thinking. What's he talking about? You say the victim used the syringe to manipulate the level of the IV drip, but there is no proof. There is no proof he didn't do it either. Yes, quite true. Huh? He's admitting to it? Nor was this witness quite as decisive as I had hoped. This I admit, after all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much? You have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin? Proof, Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less. What is this? This is the victim Klavier Gavin's diary. Diary? After going into the hospital, Klavier began writing in his memoirs, it seems. Jeez. The story of his birth, his startling debut, and the meeting of his disciples. It seems he is intended for the last chapter to end quite appropriately with his death. Strap yourselves in, everyone, it is time. Wait, that book doesn't say the reason it was done, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't deny his last request? Sadly, it does not. What's important here is on the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote his journal that night. Even after the IV began at 11 PM. Let's read it, shall we? Tonight's IV is in. Maybe the last. I'll leave the rest to them. The first should come soon. This journal may end here or may not, or go on, but not long. Not long. That depends on his something. This appears to have done written just by Jeff. The court accepts this into evidence. I need to read the last one then. This is the last page. The diary ends here. Huh? What is this? Looks like a page was ripped out. But now, isn't that interesting? Like, I can't read it. The log looks like he's constantly surprised. Yeah, he does. He's always surprised. All that's left to do is slide on his pen. Yeah. But we have this note here. Read that last part with particular care. This journal may end here or may go on. But not long, that depends on his end. Of course, by his, he refers to our defendant, Klavier Gramarye. That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor after all. But look at what he says before that. This journal might end here or might go on. It may go on. Klavier Gramarye intended to write again. That is, if Gramarye doesn't pull the trigger. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on. It ends. Because Klavier's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Klavier Gramarye. Yeah, Klavier is baiting him. Order! 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 Prosecutor Gavin! Are you certain that Klavier Gramarye wrote this? There is no mistaking his handwriting. Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Klavier did intend to continue his diary. Yet, if his diary ended here, which it plainly did, then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Klavier Gramarye. Well, how do you like me now, Herr Wright? Still so green for your taste, hmm? He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he's overlooked such an obvious problem with this precious evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, the witness testimony we heard is lacking. But, put together with this evidence, it seems sufficient for a case. If the diary is accepted like this trial is over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. And here is the fall of Phoenix Wright. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence. Hello, Kaimo! What? How are you today? You have some evidence that overturns this diary. It is not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassment. Very well, please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright. Incidentally, don't even think of showing us this diary I've just shown to the court. Now that we've come this far, I hope there's something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary. Alright, I'll be happy to. The evidence proving that the diary didn't end with this page is this. First, take a close look at this diary. Note that the page has clearly been ripped out. What is this? I hadn't noticed that at all. That's why we're still here talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. I don't believe it. Oh. Bix is having her own breakdown here. Oh. Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night was shot Klavier Gramarye. That's the defense position. Wait, let me see that. What in Sam Hill? Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary. Note the torn edge of the page. Also, actually I need to... No! Fuck! No! Me! That wasn't the plan! Me! Game! Panic! No! Game! Okay, crisis averted.
Don't klutz.
It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page of Klavier's diary. Whoa, that was turned really blue. quite remarkable. Would you care to explain what all this means, Eratoni? The diary continued after his first visitors came, which means that the victim was still alive after Valant Gramarye left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor, Valant Gramarye. No. No! The handwriting too matches the one on the other pages. This is, without a doubt, the genuine article. Order, order, order! But wait, that's impossible. That old man couldn't have written that. Finally. You just couldn't resist. Could you have, right? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Our judge? Yes, Prosecutor Gavin. Might I request that we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. But Prosecutor Gavin, this evidence overturns the current witness. I ask only it be put on hold. Please, my new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes. No more. I promise, Your Honor. Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what is your take on this? Well, Your Honor, judging him from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway, so it might as well be sooner. Then, though this is highly, highly irregular, we will put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring in the surprise witness to the courtroom. I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped out page was too obvious. He must have known. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. Holding trial with no audience is a first, even for me, Prosecutor Gavin. I beg the court's understanding. I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony. A judiciary deal? The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information to this room. Very well. And you are the witness, I gather. Ah, yes, sir. State your name and occupation for the record. My name is Drew Misham. I'm, a painter. A painter? And you're somehow related to this case? No, well, not per se. I have one simple question for this witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yeah. I know it well. How's it possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before? Oh, yeah. I mean, I made it. Drew my shame, absolutely. You what? You made it? Yes. You might call it one of my works. The regional prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Valant Gramarye. Illegal evidence? I initiated an investigation and found this witness. A painter. To the world known at large, Drew Misham as another side, you might say. is skilled in making perfect reproduction in certain things. Forgeries, in other words. Forgeries? Well, so we are to understand that this page here is a fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney.
Objection!
Hold it. I didn't prepare this evidence.
Objection!
Ah, the attorney speaks. Something about this peg, I presume. But what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Mr. Wright. Witness, Mr. Misham, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who was your client? That... I don't know. What? Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want and I receive my payment. That is the extent of my contract with them.
Objection!
But there's no proof this is a fake. It is a fake. Huh? To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can say without doubt, this is mine. Mr. Wright, you have just presented illegal evidence to this court. My court. It was careless of me. That's all I can say. Oh boy. Here. What's this? I don't know, I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. I thought it was really important. It was all a trap. A fatal trap. Mr. Wright? Yes? Do you have an explanation for yourself? If I did, would the court hear it? Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime, and presenting it in court is a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney. Fatal tools, perhaps, for your client, I fear. Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait! I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for the actions I undertook as an individual. Just this here makes you just love Phoenix more. Like, he is writing it. Like, he is still fighting for his client. Like, he knows what is going to happen. He's just like, Your Honor, don't make my defendant pay for my sins, you know? Just sticking it there. He has a heart of gold, absolutely. I am sorry, Mr. Wright. Your Honor? Another close call, I dare say. If the prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip, everything would have gone the way they wanted to, yeah? I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself. I see no need for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed. Mr. Attorney. Yes? Could I ask your name? Phoenix Wright. Mr. Wright. I have seen and studied many people, but none like you. I will remember you, Mr. Wright. Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict this way, this trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must... Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Zack? There's one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible. I'm afraid that the defendant is quite mistaken. I certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you. Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant doesn't exist? Doesn't exist? What are you talking about? I'm talking about this. Miss Wren? Enigma. The defendant has escaped. Find him, quick. Bailiff, close all exits from the building. On the double, he must not be allowed to escape. That day, in that courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Klavier Gavin, aka Valant Gramarye, did not just escape from court. He literally, unbelievably vanished. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again, not since that day. This is the Gramarye miracle! No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That is how it happened. The trial of magician Valant Gramarye vanished, along with him, for all eternity. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however, but not until 7 years later. Yeah, I would think so, but